Hello, and welcome to the Empowerography Podcast. This is a platform created for women's voices to be heard and a place to share their stories, journeys, and successes with the world for the purpose of helping other women who might be on similar journeys. We are empowering women one episode at a time. I'm your host, Brad Walsh, so kick back, grab one of your favorite beverages, and enjoy the stories. If you're looking for jewelry that makes an impact on your self-care routine and your style, Empowerography would love to offer you a discount code to one of our exclusive partners, Quartz & Canary Jewelry and Wellness Company. Please use code EMPOWER15 to receive 15% off upon checkout at www.quartzandcanary.com. Quartz & Canary is truly the place where spirituality meets style. Hello there, Brad Walsh here, your host of the Empowerography Podcast. Today, my guest is Julie Walz. She is the owner and founder of Flip and Shift based in Central Illinois. How you doing this morning, Julie?
I'm doing great, Brad. Thank you for having me here. I'm super excited.
Excellent. It's a pleasure to have you, and thank you for agreeing to be part of the Empowerography community and be a guest on the podcast and share a bit about your story and your journey and a bit of your insights as to what you do. And I just want you to know I appreciate you, and I appreciate you taking the time.
Oh, I appreciate you, Brad. I think your podcast is amazing. I've listened to so many episodes, and I just feel honored to be a part of all these amazing people. Like,
oh, no,
every single podcast episode has just blown my mind. So
that's amazing to hear.
So much.
I'm so happy, but the honor is honestly all mine. I'm honored by each and every one of you amazing women for wanting to be part of the community and help grow the platform.
Absolutely.
So let's jump right in. So you are the owner, CEO, and founder of Flip and Shift, a professional and personal development business. Can you tell us a bit about your business and what you do?
Sure, absolutely. Okay, so the Flip and Shift is an online, like Brad said, an online-based coaching business for personal and professional development. I teach techniques and tools to help a person better understand their temperament as well as others, because that's really important, and it's our foundational approach. I also teach clients how to reprogram the conscious and subconscious thinking, and then I provide behavioral analysis, and then finally we work together and for a customized temperament-focused plan to help you achieve your process or outcome goals.
That's a mouthful. That's a lot.
It is.
What were you doing for a living before you started your business?
Okay. Well, before I started my business, I've been a mom for 14 years. My oldest is 14 years old. And I've always done little small fun projects on the side. But before I got married and had kids, I worked for a large pharmaceutical diagnostics corporation out of Chicago. It's called Abbott Laboratories. Have you ever heard of that?
No, I haven't.
Okay. So I was a sales and marketing professional for the diagnostics division.
Okay.
It was a really cool company to work for. And I did that for a few years. And then before that, I did a lot of work related to my university studies. And then I also was a radio DJ.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, very cool.
How long were you a DJ for?
Just for a couple years.
Okay.
A short stint, but it was super fun. I loved it.
I'm sure. So how long have you been in business? How long has Flip and Shift been in existence now?
Okay. Well, I officially became a temperament behavior coach in the early spring of this year. However, I was a mindfulness instructor for about 6 years. The FNS was officially born in the late part of 2018, beginning of 2019. So we're fairly new.
Okay.
Yeah. So I would say about a year old.
Okay. So how did you come up with a name for your business? Where does that come from?
I love this question because everybody's like, what? Do you mind if I feel like I'm going to say a bad word? Is that okay?
No. Oh, yeah, of course. Absolutely.
Okay,
you can swear all you like. Don't worry.
I'm not a sailor, but I just want to be mindful.
No, that's okay.
Of your podcast.
No, it's totally fine.
Okay. So everybody's like, what the hell is the Flip and Shift? Are you flipping cars? What the hell are you doing? So there's a funny story. I mean, it's not that funny, but it is funny. So I was doing, when I was going through my healing journey and I discovered, kind of the golden ticket out of it. It's called reprogramming work. So when I was doing reprogramming work, my husband was making a lot of, observations of like, whatever the hell you're doing, keep doing it.
Yeah.
And, I didn't know how to, explain it, but I didn't want to say it's reprogramming work or whatever. So I was like, just say I'm flipping my shit, basically. And so my sister and I were talking on the phone, and she was like, I'm like, I got to let you go, Meg. My sister's name is Meg. And I'm like, I got to let you go. I got to go flip my shit. And she's like, you know what? You should consider using that for your business name. Flip, instead of you flip and shit, or flip your shit, call it flip and shift. And then have the tagline be flipping your thinking, shifting your behaviors. And that's where it came from.
Very cool. I love it.
I got to give credit to my sister, because she's all about, you better give me credit for that.
Where credit's due, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I read and through speaking with you previously, I know you have quite the personal story in terms of struggles and chronic illness. Can you talk to us and give us a brief overview of what you've been through in that regard?
Yeah, and I'm going to try to keep it brief, Brad, to be cognizant of your time. But I have a pretty typical, I don't want to, minimalize it, but I have a pretty typical chronic illness story. Okay. And I've been in the chronic illness world for several years. So, and I've been a very present person. I've had, Facebook pages and stem cell journeys that I've put out there, and I did bee venom therapy and everything. So I've been out there sharing my story for a long time, and I hear kind of the same type of story over and over again as far as chronic illness. But I will say that so I'll just explain. For my temperament, I'm a sanguine phlegmatic person.
Okay.
And so my entire life, what that means is that I was born this way, basically. This is how my brain is programmed.
Okay.
And so ever since I was a little kid, I've always been basically a classic phlegmatic person, which is anxiety prone. I've also had very limited emotional compartmentalization skills my entire life. And of course, I've listened to a lot of your podcasts. A lot of people that have had chronic illness or dealt with something like that, they usually have some childhood or late adolescent unresolved trauma. Right. And
yeah.
I did have that, unfortunately. So, and trauma is very subjective, and, I just got to put that out there.
Yeah.
But what I want to say is, no matter what the trauma it is, and if it's in early childhood or early adolescence, there is a study out there. It's the ACE study, and it's found on the CDC website. But it talks about if it was not dealt with or wasn't resolved, it can greatly impact a person's health down the road. And that's kind of really what happened for me. And so really what it all started was when I was a child, I witnessed my sister's death tragically. And then a year later, my brother died. And then, it was pretty traumatic. And then what happened is I'm a 70s, 80s baby. So going to get some grief counseling or going to counseling or getting some, help with that was just not a common thing. So I discovered the art of stuffing and storing. you stuff, you store, and you hide your traumas. All right. And then you go to church and you pray about it. So, and that's the truth. But anyway, so then, fast forward to after my son was born, and, women go through a lot of trauma, going through labor and all the changes that happen. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, I started developing a lot of physical symptoms, and then that started my exploration of going outside of myself and looking for the answers. And we sought, 50 different physicians' opinions. And I always came up shorthanded, but yet still dealing with shit, basically.
Yeah.
And then I listened to one of your podcasts with Leah Morrison. I had
Leah is amazing.
Yes, I loved her episode. I was like, everything's so relatable. So I had essentially the same type of seizures she had, but mine were focal seizures, so eye seizures that are trauma induced. So then fast forward to seeking and searching, and then really what I tell people was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back was when we went to Mayo because I had no answers, and my husband's like, we got to figure this out.
Yeah.
And then I did all the diagnostic testing, and I'd been up there several times, and then my last visit, they referred me to the psychiatric doctor at Mayo. And he's kind of like the world-renowned psychiatric doctor there.
Right.
And because I'm a phlegmatic, I'm a compliant soul. All right. Mm-hmm. I'm not very guarded. and I'm a people pleaser.
Yeah.
So naturally, so I walked in the office, sat down, and he knew the right questions to ask. And of course, I'm just opening up Pandora's box, and all hell broke loose. And right after that, I got sicker than I was just sick at that point. I felt like I got hit by a mad truck, and I knew I could feel it in the appointment that I was starting to unravel.
Yeah.
I walked out of the office. He handed me a prescription of Xanax and some meditation CDs. Yeah. Which everybody that knows me knows that I'm a classic sanguine, have classic natural sanguine traits, which is meditation isn't my bag. Yeah. I don't love meditation, but I love state of flow. Mm-hmm. But, you know, I was I was just left vulnerable, raw, and I felt abandoned in that moment. So, I mean, we just sought natural doctors at that point, and then I found out that I had Lyme, mold, genetic disorders, all these
shit.
Yeah, it's pretty typical once you kind of move away from the Western medicine world and you go into the natural world. That kind of is what comes up. So basically, we just exhausted all of our money, our time, our energy. I did about every modality out there that I possibly could do, including some extreme modalities such as bee venom therapy. And then I was just left sick. Wow. Dealing with, you know, all of that for years. So, yep.
Well, the Western medicine method, it push drugs. That's all it is. I mean, you see it all the time, right? The doctors, to me anyways, a lot of the doctors are just legal pill pushers. That's all they are. Here, 100%. If this medication doesn't work, we'll put you on this one. If this one doesn't work, we'll put you on another one. It's ridiculous. It's a cycle. And it's all about pushing these drugs. It's crazy.
Exactly. So that's pretty much my backstory on, how I got sick and everything.
So can you describe how it felt for you to finally figure out what it was that was wrong inside, and that you had finally started on a path to working on and healing yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. So just a little bit of a backstory on that piece was, you know, I was desperate. A lot of chronic illness people are just, they're spent, right? They've spent everything, money, energy, time. Yeah. And then we start looking for alternative ways to heal ourselves.
Yeah, for sure.
So I was there. And so I started looking at Dr. John Sarno's work. He's a professor out of New York School of Medicine, and he wrote the Mind Body Prescription. Okay. And so I started to take a deep dive. I'm a very analytical person, so I grabbed a hold of his book and every book that I could get my hands on that had to do with mind-body connection. And I came across some brain retraining systems. And I did that for about 2 years, and I saw some changes, but I just knew something was missing. Yeah. And so I kept digging deeper and deeper. And finally I found a program that looked at the brain as a software system. And so, and you know, instead of calling things symptoms, they're actually signaling factors. Okay. And so I started to take a deeper dive into that, and I was really onto something. And I started noticing things were getting better for me. I was, reprogramming belief systems, reprogramming emotions, looking at how I've naturally behaved throughout my entire life. I had some awareness around my temperament, and honestly, acceptance around it. And so really how it made me feel was I felt empowered, but with empowerment, it comes with rawness, vulnerability, and extreme self-awareness.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure. So
how have these experiences helped shape the Julie you are today, do you think? All of this shit that you've been through and dealt with.
Oh my gosh. Well, you know, me personally, and I know a lot of people are conditioned to think that they need to seek outside themselves, right? We're looking for the answer, but we're looking for that magic pill. Yeah. And then once I stopped and saw that I'm actually the answer, I started to see so many aha moments that were happening, right? And I knew when I was doing this work, this was going to be the hardest work I'd ever have to do. There was no magic pill. Yeah. I'm just going to have to buckle down and get through this, right? Yeah. I was going to, feel vulnerable, breakable, but guess what? I felt the strongest that I've ever felt in my entire life. Amazing. So, And I think it's connecting to that survival type instinct that we have in our brains and our bodies. And then really having faith in our abilities to be able to heal ourselves. So, and I know it's kind of unfortunately been culturally and socially driven out of us.
It has.
So it does, right?
Because
so
it goes back to the Western medicine, pushing
100%.
pills.
100%. So I had to change that way of thinking and really connect to myself and harness that power within my own mind and my body to heal. So
it's unfortunate that more people don't realize that that's what's going on with Western medicine, and that there are alternate methods of healing. And I mean, 100%. Natural is the way to go, I would say. Why would you want to put all this foreign shit into your body? And just sometimes you got to wonder if it compounds everything, all the shit they put you on.
And you know what, Brad, this is the part that's fascinating. I worked for freaking Abbott Laboratories.
Yeah, I was just going to say,
right?
Yeah. You worked for a pharmaceutical company.
And we were told to avoid the package insert information that talks all about the side effects.
Gosh.
So we purposely deflected that piece when we were marketing our drugs and our testing and everything else. But yet I still went after it.
Yeah.
I still did all the drugs and tried everything.
Well, because like you said, it's drilled into us that this 100%. Is the way that you heal, right? This is the way that you help yourself. This is what you do when you're sick, right?
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
So what is it about what you do that excites and inspires you?
Ooh, that's a good question. So what I love is I love working with my clients, and then what excites me and inspires me is when I witness their aha moment. And I mean, it may be a little aha moment, but when they start to recognize their own power, their potential, and then they build momentum towards formulating an action plan that actually aligns to what they want. It's like a transformation's happening in front of me. So that really gets me excited.
What's your favorite part of your job?
I think it's getting to know my clients and then seeing how their behavior is predictable based on their temperament. I can predict how they're going to react. I see underlying themes regarding belief systems associated with their temperament. So it's kind of that analytical piece of me that I love to do.
Can you walk us through your process a little bit for when you get a client inquiry to work with you to actually coaching and helping a client?
Absolutely. So my coaching process is not a one size fits all, because I found that for myself.
Right.
It's individualized, and there really isn't a realistic timeline to follow.
Okay.
I do not offer these packaged coaching sessions, because everyone that comes to me, I listen to them and I realize they're all different. So how long they're going to work with me is going to be different based on who I'm working with.
Okay.
So first things first, they're going to schedule a free discovery session with me, because I want to get to know them and start to get a feel for their temperament and how I'm going to proceed to work with them.
Yeah.
And then if they choose to come back and work with me, we'll have an official session. And I always give them a warning that I like homework. So I'm going to give them free homework.
Yeah.
And then I'm an accountability coach. So I'm going to make sure they did their homework, and I do a lot of follow-up. So we start with the awareness stage of looking at, I want to get up into their brain, and I want to look at their subconscious and conscious thinking and get a feel for what I'm working with, right? And then based on their temperament. And then we move towards connections of where these rooted belief systems were birthed, where rooted emotions were birthed. So I do a lot of mind mapping, which links back to their past.
Okay. Yeah.
And then we work on reprogramming those beliefs and printing new life evidence. And then we move towards the behavioral type analysis, because you have to match up the mind with the body, the mental behavior with the physical behavior.
Right.
So that's my process. Yep. And then wait, real quick, I'm Brad. Sorry. I just want to add to those folks that are listening, I have free YouTube videos out there that talks about my process. So go to my YouTube channel, and then I offer, once you become my client, there's a group. I have a private online group, a coaching group that there's weekly lead mentors. There's Monday check-ins. There's a lot of accountability, and then once a month I come in for a free group coaching call.
That's
So
awesome.
a lot of good stuff. Yeah.
Lots of resources.
Absolutely.
Amazing. So I read that you're also going to be launching the Flip and Shift podcast. That's amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Can you tell us a bit about the podcast, the format, and when it'll be launching?
Absolutely. I'm joining your world. I'm so
Yeah,
excited.
I love it. That's great. More podcasters are a good thing.
I'm learning so much from you too. So thank you.
Well, thank you. I didn't think of myself as a teacher, but okay, I'll take it.
You are, Brad. You are wise. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So yes, currently right now I do live interviews on my Instagram page.
Yep.
And I've been doing them for over a year. And who I interview basically are, health coaches, practitioners, therapists. So I've had, that are fairly niched in the coaching world. So I've had law of attraction coaches, spiritual Christian therapists. I've had sex therapists, intimacy coaches, and recently had queer and inspired Michelle. She's with the LGBTQAI plus community.
Okay.
So I really, really love connecting with professionals that have a story and are using their story to help, others. So I think it's a natural bridge over to the podcast world. Okay. But I'm working on that marketing bridge. So we plan to launch in the early part of 2021.
Awesome. That's great.
Yeah,
and so will it all be interview-based episodes, or will you be doing some solo episodes as well, a bit of a mix, or how is it going to work?
Definitely a mix, because I want to talk about temperament, because I love talking about temperament.
Very cool. That's awesome.
Absolutely.
Now, I also read you're going to be launching a children's book. Can you tell us a bit about that and the inspiration behind that and when that will be launching?
Absolutely. Yes. So much going on, Brad.
I know. Holy shit.
I know, right? I'm self-publishing and have illustrated. My background's in art. So when I was an undergrad, I was an art major. And so I'm illustrating my first children's book. It's called Don't Burst Your Bubble. It's awesome. Super stinking cute. It's something, the concept of it is something I've been teaching my children since I began the mindfulness work. Okay. So it all started with my son. I'll just give you a little bit of a backstory. Yeah, sure. It all started with my son. My middle boy came home one day, and he's a very quiet guy, very much stays in his own little world and zone. Yeah. And, he said he was in class and he was focused and he was concentrating, just felt really calm and content. And then the teacher came in, and she was in a bad mood. She was raging out. And he said, "Mom, I felt sad. I felt, anxious inside." And I said to him, "Dude, don't let anyone burst your bubble." Yeah.
And hence the name.
Exactly. So I said, if you're calm and content and feeling happy, protect your bubble. So the title of the book is Don't Burst Your Bubble. We're teaching children how to recognize healthy belief systems and how to protect them. The character is a combination of all my kids.
Very cool.
Yeah, they helped me with the drawing. So it's been
awesome.
It's been a fun family involved process. And I will say this, it'll probably be one of my greatest achievements.
I'm sure it will. So, that's amazing.
Woo-hoo, yay.
And when will that be released? When are you looking to publish it? When will it be published and out and available for people?
Yeah, well, my publishing date is set for February. Okay. At the beginning of February of 2021.
Wow,
so
you got some big shit going on in 2021 to kick the year off. That's amazing.
It's my year, right?
Apparently. And here's another thing that you're also working on a sales and marketing ebook. Can you tell us a bit about that and when that's going to be released?
Yeah, and actually,
let me guess, 2021, March?
Well, that one's a little bit later. Yeah, we're going to shoot for spring, summer. Okay. This is a collaborative effort. So my sister and I are working on an ebook for sales and marketing. She's actually the head of a division of sales and marketing out of Chicago. So, and as I've talked to her about temperament, and she's seeing some huge, wow, aha moments with all that. So, as we were talking, she says, there's countless sales methodologies out there that they've had companies coming in teaching some sales methodology, and people are taught these processes, and they're told, if you do this, if you follow this process, you're going to win the deal. Right. Right. But guess what? That's not realistic.
No.
Right. And so they lose deals all the time, and often without a real understanding of why the the deal went sideways. So because those processes rarely take into consideration how the buyers innately respond to, the salesperson or external stimuli, our book's going to help sales and marketing professionals identify buyer temperament and then how that buyer temperament should be managed throughout the sales process.
Well, there's a psychology aspect to sales as well that is huge and important, right? So absolutely. And if you're looking at somebody sitting in front of you, right, you're not taking into consideration how they innately respond. Right. So that's the part that needs to be focused on. It's never going to change. Yeah. That's how they react in their professional life and how they react at home. Yeah. So, yeah. What is one of the most important things you've learned in your life, and what was your life like before learning it, and what was your life like after learning it?
Okay, that's a fantastic question. So I will say I've learned to trust my gut instinct. Okay. 100%. I'm a phlegmatic temperament, and I naturally have difficulty trusting my gut instinct. So in the past, I often looked outside of myself for validation, right? And listen to others before I did anything. And a lot of that caused a ton of anxiety. I missed opportunities. I had limiting belief systems, and I always felt like some sort of victim of circumstance. So I recognized that common trait and then began to work on organically connecting to my gut instinct so I can in turn no longer be a victim to myself. Yeah. Which is super empowering.
Okay. You know, you mentioned, I find it interesting, you mentioned you missed opportunities, and it made me think immediately of something my dad always said to me growing up as a teen and into my early 20s. He said, whatever's meant for you will not go by you. So those opportunities that you say you, air quotes, missed weren't meant for you. That's how I look at that kind of stuff. And I always refer back to that, to what he told me.
I think that's excellent. Your dad is a smart man. That's awesome, Brad.
What makes you feel inspired or like your best self?
I think I feel inspired and my best self when I feel that power and confidence in myself. And then I know I have the capabilities to go after what I want by connecting to what I need. I teach my clients a lot about intention behavior work. Yeah. So it keeps me inspired to stay focused and then stay focused on my plan.
Can you share a situation that's occurred in your life that you feel provides insight as to your character, as to who Julie is?
Yeah. And, this is going to kind of go into a conversation about the difference that I see between character, personality, and temperament. So I try to hone in on my temperament, seeing as it kind of affects the personality and the character piece to me. Right. But I always say this, and I know you're probably going to get sick of this, but I am a sanguine phlegmatic. And so who I am naturally is I'm very energetic. Okay. I love to be around people, and this work that I do really solidifies my natural eagerness to want to help others. Yeah. So it's really working well for me. I'm also a very classic phlegmatic person where I'm a deep analytical thinker. So this also plays into my role with my job. But I'm also very creative. So I like to, be creative and fun and playful. And I think, doing the children's book has been really wonderful for me. And it connects to, that brain reset that I require and gets me in that kind of state of flow type thinking. But yeah, I'm energetic, people pleasing, people loving, and just fun to be around, I think. So that's me.
All right. What do you think your unique skill set or superpower is that's helped you become successful?
Yeah. Well, I can say without a doubt that I think my skill set, I don't know if it's a superpower, but I think my skill set is that I can immediately identify temperament, and I can analyze how a person naturally responds to life, and then kind of some basic belief systems that are tied into who they are.
Okay. Yeah. How do you define success? What does that word mean to you?
Okay. There's so many ways to define success. So in relation to my work, I think success can be defined as when I meet a client and then, over time I watch them connect to who they are. And then I witness their confidence grow. And then, they find the way, right? So I always tell my clients, there's always a way if there's a strong will and a plan of action. So Excellent. It makes me feel successful
Beautiful.
when I see that.
Yeah. What is one of your favorite quotes?
Oh, I love this. So this is on my webpage, and it's an old proverb, and it's give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish, you feed him for a lifetime.
Yes,
so,
that's a great
huge.
quote for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
You owe me a beer.
I'll get you a beer. Yeah, for sure.
What do you feel most grateful for in your life?
My family.
Family? Okay.
Yep.
How would you describe yourself in one word? Not phlegmatic either.
Okay, I'm refraining.
I want you to use a different word.
Okay, I will say resilient. I'm a resilient person.
Love it. What does the word empowerment mean to you, Julie?
Connection and acceptance of your true self.
I love that. That's great.
Yeah.
What is your personal motto?
I should bring my kids in here. They will tell me I say this all the time. So, and it's actually going to be my next book when I get done with my first book. So it's called.
Look at you. You're already talking about your next book. Wow.
Future goals, baby. Future goals.
I love it.
So what my motto is, I always say, everyone always hears me say this, stay in your lane.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yep.
That's a good one. What do you think is the most common reason for people failing or giving up?
Yeah, that's a really good one. I would say staying safe. We do not like to do what's uncomfortable.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I see this a lot.
Nothing good comes from comfort zones, though.
Nothing good comes from comfort zones?
That's right.
Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's so true.
Yeah. For sure. I mean, we have to learn to step outside of that. I mean, you can think of all the shit you can accomplish if you just get out of that. And I mean, I know everybody does it. We fall into those things where we're just comfortable. It feels good because we're comfortable in it, but you have to step outside in order to grow. I
mean, and I have to say this, look at your story. I listened to your episode. Look at your story. You went outside your comfort zone.
I haven't listened to my episode, actually.
You need to listen to it. It's so good. So you push that. You push those envelopes, right? Those boundaries. So kudos to you.
Well, kudos to you. Thank you so much. That's very kind of you to say, and I appreciate the kind words.
Yep.
What makes you smile, Julie?
Oh, you probably hear this all the time. My kids' laughter makes me giggle. And then my husband, he always knows how to make me laugh. I'm just thinking of things right now. He makes me laugh.
Yes. So. If you were writing your autobiography, what would the title be?
It comes back to my personal motto. I would say the art of staying in your lane.
I love that. That's a great title. I think you should write that down so you don't forget it.
Oh, I did.
What gives you the motivation to keep going, Julie?
My kids. Really, truly, my kids, they brought me out of the most darkest spaces in my life. And I'm doing this work to set them up for a more manageable, pro-actionary type future.
Amazing.
Teaching them tools, teaching them techniques, connecting to them, their authentic self. So yeah, this just keeps me going.
Great. What is the first thing you think when I say the word future?
This is going to sound crazy. I'm going to say the mountains.
The mountains? Okay.
Well, and the reason being is because I think of life like mountains, ups and downs, adventure, peaks and valleys. But I also, we just bought a home out in Montana. So all I can think about is mountains.
There you go. Very nice.
Yes.
There's a quote, one of my guests a few weeks back, and I've actually published her episode. I loved it. She said that those mountains were meant for you to climb, not to carry.
Exactly.
And I love that quote.
I love that. That's amazing.
Jillian Redrose.
Okay, I'm going to write that down. Yeah, I'm going to listen to that one. Okay.
Yeah, for sure. Her story is absolutely incredible and so inspiring.
Wow. Yeah, I'll take a look. Can't wait.
Early bird or night owl?
Oh, early bird for sure. For
Money
sure.
or fame?
Can I do an option C?
Sure.
Neither? How about inner peace?
Yeah. I've had a few people say neither, actually, quite a few.
Yeah. I can't connect to either one. So I want inner peace. Inner peace.
Okay. I like it. That works.
Okay.
If you could teach the world one thing, what would it be?
You're going to be like, oh my gosh, again, I'm going to say temperament. Temperament. And then I would say it leads to self-acceptance.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and I want to say this real quick.
Yep.
So
Sure.
I was talking to my sister about this. And here is a amazing observation of temperament response. So I asked my sister, who is a very classic caloric temperament. Okay. And I am very much the opposite of a classic caloric temperament. And so I asked her the question, and she said, temperament is who you innately are. So I would be less apologetic about how I view the world versus my responses. Temperament will allow me to be more accepting of myself and others. Two different responses from two different temperaments.
Yeah.
Yes, that situation.
Yeah.
She was like, so I see the difference. I see a profound difference in those responses.
But doesn't everything start with self, though? I mean, self is the foundation for all of it.
But what is with the self, when you're having a what about temperament and understanding it, what it means? It's going to be different responses depending upon how you view the world, right?
Okay, yeah.
And
true.
so her view is, well, I don't want to say it's calorics have a tendency to be about themselves. They are very tunnel focused people. Okay. And my type of temperament is about how I affect the world.
Right.
Right. And how I want the world to be accepting of me, and I want to be accepting of the world. So it's just two different variations of the same response.
Okay. Interesting.
So yeah, I think it's interesting.
If you had a theme song that played every single time you walked into a room, what would that theme song be?
Oh, geez. Oh my gosh. You asked some really amazing questions.
Thank you. You're good. You're really good for my ego, Julie.
Yay. All right. I'm just going to say, because she's my girl and I love her, Whitney Houston, greatest love of all. And the reason why I say that is because I built some Whitney in the shower. That song is about connection to self and to find the power within. So I'm just going to go with Whitney. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. If you came with a warning label, what would yours say?
This is super easy. I always tell every single one of my clients that I meet, I am very direct and I'm very honest. You just have to be prepared for that.
Yeah. 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 A lot of people don't want to hear the honesty, right?
Absolutely. And especially when you're talking about things that they have to accept.
Yeah.
This is how your brain is programmed.
Yeah.
You have to accept everything with it. So.
But I think you can also, on the flip side of that, know that you can reprogram that way of thinking as well.
Well, you can reprogram the belief systems around it, right? The subconscious patterns, the emotions around it. But accept the fact that you're going to be a very methodical person naturally. Right. Accept the fact that you're going to be a very, all over the board type person, because that's a sanguine temperament. Right. You just have to have a proactionary plan or a proactive plan in play to deal with things as they come throughout life. Right. So there's some acceptance, and then, absolutely, there's some things you can absolutely reprogram.
For sure.
Yep.
If you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that piece of advice be?
I would say, looking back at my younger version of myself, I would tell myself, trust your gut, sis. Trust it.
I love it.
Yep.
Lastly, if you were to deliver your last 30-second speech to the world, what would that last 30 seconds sound like?
Gosh, this is so good. This is such a good question. Okay. So I kind of wrote a thing down because I thought it was super important. I think it's an amazing question. So I'm just going to kind of read it. Okay, so this is what I would say. I know many of you have had some dark days and felt powerless in your life. Just know we all have an instinctual program that is fighting for our survival, and it encourages us to thrive and empower and find balance within. I encourage you to connect to that instinct, and where there is a strong will, there will always be a way.
Love it. That's great, Julie.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Julie, thank you so much for being a guest and being part of the Empowerography community and being such a fan of what I'm doing. I love you. Are, like I said, you are very good for my ego today. I appreciate that.
Brad, I'm direct and honest. I wouldn't say that bullshit if it was bullshit. You know what I mean? I would say it because I believe it, and I'm hooked. I listen to your episodes, and I've referenced people, and I encourage others to, subscribe to your podcast.
Awesome.
And I've shared it. I love it. I think you're doing a fantastic job.
Thank you so much. And I'm sure you will do just as good a job when you launch yours. So
thank you. I appreciate that.
I just want to say thank you so much for being part of the community and for sharing your story here today and your journey and some of your struggles and the road you've walked and your adversity. And I totally appreciate you. And I appreciate you taking the time to be here and share that with all of us here today. You are an inspiration for sure. And it's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you today.
Oh, thank you so much, Brad. I really appreciate it.
Once again, my name is Brad Walsh, host of your Empowerography Podcast. Today, my guest has been Julie Walz. She is the owner and founder of Flip and Shift, based in Central Illinois. Thank you, Julie. I hope you have an amazing rest of the day.
You too, Brad. All my love.
Thank you. Right back at you.
Thanks.
Thank you very much for listening to this podcast. If you haven't yet, please be sure to subscribe, rate, review, and share with all your friends. You can find me at visuphoria.ca and follow me on Instagram at Empowerography Podcast and on Facebook at Empowerography. Please join me next time for another inspirational story from yet another amazing woman.